Once upon a time in a small village nestled between towering mountains, there lived a young woman named Naomi. She was known throughout the village for her kind heart, her hardworking nature, and her unwavering faith in God. Naomi had always believed that life was a journey, a path laid out by a higher power, and that all things happened for a reason, even if she couldn't understand them at the time. But one day Naomi's faith would be tested in a way she never expected. It all began when Naomi's father, a respected farmer, fell ill. The village doctors couldn't figure out what was wrong with him, and every day his condition grew worse. Naomi spent her days praying, hoping for a miracle, but as the weeks passed, her father's health continued to decline. She watched as the strong, vibrant man she had always known became weak and frail. Desperate, Naomi sought out a healer from a neighboring town, but she was told that the journey would be long, and the healer might not even be able to help. "Why, God, why is this happening?" Naomi cried out one evening, kneeling beside her father's bed. "Why does it feel like everything is slipping away?" Her faith, once so certain, began to falter. She questioned why a good man like her father had to suffer so terribly. Her heart, heavy with grief and confusion, felt as if it might break. Then in the midst of her turmoil, an old woman from the village came to visit. She was known for her quiet wisdom and calm presence. Naomi, exhausted and heartbroken, poured out her troubles. "Naomi," the old woman said gently, "I know this is a difficult time for you, but sometimes when we're in the middle of a storm, it's hard to see what God is doing. It's like a sculptor chiseling a block of stone. You can't see the statue when the chips are flying, but trust this, there is a plan, even when you don't understand it." Naomi listened, but her pain clouded her understanding. The old woman continued, "When you're sailing a boat on rough seas, you can't always see where the shore is, but you must trust that there is one. And when you trust, you find peace." The old woman's words stayed with Naomi, but it wasn't until a week later, when her father passed away peacefully in his sleep, that she began to understand their meaning. At first, Naomi was consumed with sorrow, but then something remarkable happened. She began to notice small acts of kindness from the villagers, neighbors offering meals, people helping to tend to the farm, and others simply offering a shoulder to lean on. Naomi realized that through her father's illness and passing, something had shifted in the village. The people had come together, and a spirit of compassion and unity had been born. Days turned into weeks, and Naomi found herself slowly finding peace. As she sat by her father's grave, she finally understood what the old woman had meant. God's plan wasn't always easy to see, but in trusting it, Naomi had seen the strength of her community and the beauty that emerged from their shared struggles. One morning, as she looked out over the farm, Naomi remembered something her father had once told her. "Trust the soil, Naomi. Even when it looks barren, you never know what's being prepared underneath." Her father had been right. Faith was about trusting the process, even when the harvest wasn't yet visible. Naomi now saw that the storm she had endured had prepared her for something greater, something more meaningful than she could have imagined. Her heart was at peace because she understood that faith wasn't about having all the answers. It was about trusting that there was a plan, even when we couldn't see it. As time went on, Naomi took on a leadership role in the village, helping others who were going through struggles of their own. Her faith became a beacon of hope, showing others that even in the hardest times, there was always a greater purpose, a bigger picture at play. And so, the village flourished, not just in crops, but in spirit. Naomi's story became one of the village's greatest lessons. Trusting God's plan, even when it doesn't make sense, leads to peace, strength, and unexpected blessings. Moral of the story: faith is not always about understanding what happens, but trusting that there is a greater plan in motion. Even in the hardest moments, God is working behind the scenes. Trust the process, and know that sometimes what seems like a loss may lead to something far greater than you can imagine.